Guys had a phenomenal weekend. Back at it again, hitting it hard. A bunch of stuff to get to today. We've got some good stuff, right? That's entertaining, and we've lost our manners, which is shouldn't surprise us because we've lost the shit out of our manners. I think it's the best way to describe what's going on. Some of the other stuff we're going to get to today. What happened in Charlotte, and how this is, of course, like everything's become political. If you don't know what happened in Charlotte, we'll explain it to you in a little bit. But let's just say there was a murder. It was on video. It's now become right versus left, black versus white, Democrats versus Republicans. What it was an absolute vile, disgusting thing that took place. And there's a lot more to it, as there tends to always be, but not in the world of politics. You can't have that. You got to just go with whatever we got in front of us. And we'll talk about that as well. And then Trump, the Epstein stuff, which is just always entertaining at this moment in time. But let's start with baseball. So over the weekend, look, when you're a little kid, you want to catch a baseball. It's what you want to do. You want to catch it, right? Like, it's very exciting. And there was a baseball hit into the crowd, and people want the baseball. So they're going to go get the baseball. They're going out. They're getting the baseball. They're super excited about getting the baseball because it's a baseball. Now, can I see this when somebody's going for their 74th home run and there's a potential $1 million? I could totally see that. Can I see this when it comes to some, something of that nature? Yes. But when you're a kid, yeah, you want to catch a baseball. Well, Dad went and got a baseball, and Karen was not happy. There they are, fighting over the ball. That's Karen. That's Dad right there. Dad got ball. Several different pictures. I've heard everything. Well, Karen had it first. Actually, there was another view I saw is a 50-50. Lots of seats, people going, they're trying to get it, right? Like, this wasn't one of those things. Karen, you know what? If you fielded better, maybe you catch it, you catch it, right? It's the Marlins too. So there's probably 8 people in the park. It's a run to get it. So Dad's pretty stoked. He got the ball. Dad goes over. I got the ball. Dad's stoked. Family. Now here it comes. See the hand right there? You can't see it, but if it's just right there, if there's the hand coming in, who is it? It's Karen. Oh, Dad's scared. It's not, I'm not quite sure what that was about, but there he goes. Oh, there we go. They're discussing everything, yada, yada, yada. This is what it sounded like when they discussed it. Okay. It was in my hands. You took it from me. She got the ball. She was very happy with herself. She walked back. I took the ball the whole 9 yards. Good news. Marlins came up because it's Marlins game. And they're like, look, we're just happy anybody's here because it's Marlins game. Here's some free swag. You know what? It's the Marlins game. You want to play? We're the Marlins. You can play if you want. We're cool with that. So that was cool. He also got to meet his favorite Philly, which he was stoked about. He got a bat, the whole 9 yard. It worked out great. And they asked the dad, why didn't you say something? And a lot of people today, first of all, I don't think she should be destroyed. I know a lot of people think we should just destroy her life. It'll be great. And they've already, by the way, you're trying to destroy her life has already cost a woman some hell who was not part of this, but got, through internet sleuths, got picked out, and then they went after her, and it wasn't her. But that's okay because people don't care. But you shouldn't ruin her life. The world looks at her as, the Karen of baseball. And that's what she woke up. Everybody hates her. That's kind of, the nation's like, what a bitch. So that's enough, I think. The dad said, I wanted to de-escalate. And I heard people today go, well, that was kind of wimpy. And it was kind of this, what'd you want him to do? Throw a blow? What did that teach you, kid? Yeah. She won't ask again. I mean, that's ridiculous, right? And it worked out better. See, that's the thing. In today's world, shit can go sideways. And it can work out better, and it did for the kid. It did. Now, the dad's thing was a little much, but whatever. Karen was there. She was there to throw down. She got her ball. She was happy. We all moved on with her life. But it was funny. But this world of we got no sense of kindness towards one another. What's mine is mine. I'm here to get it. She came. It was, you're a grown woman. This is a baseball, and this isn't a baseball that's going to fetch you $5 million. It's a baseball that you guys all fought over, and it was on the ground, and he picked it up. So you taught your kids several things. De-escalate a situation like this because you're never going to win with Karen. She always has the face that says, I need to speak to your manager. And the second thing, and this is important. This is important. You're not going to win this situation. You're not. So play it out, be nice, de-escalate the situation. Now, if it's a grown man, you have a different kind of conversation than you would with this, but it's a baseball game and you just let it go. And that was everywhere. And I thought that to be hilarious and sad at the same time because you woke up and the world thinks you're a raving bitch. I want you to think about that for a second. The world thinks you're a bitch. They think you're an awful person because you confronted a boy and his dad and the family at a baseball game over a home run ball that you didn't catch that was bobbling on the ground. That can't be a win. That can't be a win. But do I think that she needs to be destroyed? Because I've seen a lot of, let's find out who she is, we'll destroy her. That seems like a bit much, okay? Kid got more stuff than he would have. So at the end, it worked out phenomenally, as a lot of times these things do. Something that didn't work out phenomenally. I'm going to play this. I'm going to say this. You know, the battle of right, wrong, left, right, black, white, Democrat, Republican, progressive, conservative, MAGA, you know, all this kind of... This was a horrible situation. And that's the best way to describe it. It was an act of pure violence and madness by a person who wasn't well in the dome. Okay? To the point where not only had he been arrested 14 times, incarcerated on numerous occasions, including one time where when he got out of jail, his mother said she had to get a restraining order and an order of protection against her own son because he was so manic and schizophrenic, of which the courts, I guess, agreed. And again, you're going to hear a lot of stories. But it starts out, girl cruises in. Now, this is not just a girl. This is a young lady who left the Ukraine and came here to America. She's in Charlotte, North Carolina. She's on the light rail. She comes on in.
Train is about to move.
Oh, there he is. There she is. There's several people on here too, which we're going to get to in a second. So you've got this young woman. There she is, doing nothing, right? Everybody too in today's world, headphones on, everybody down. Nobody's looking at anything. Nobody's looking at anybody. Even today, I walk back and forth to work. It's a gorgeous day out here in Nashville. I cruise back and forth. I've got maybe a half a mile walk to work. So I pass anywhere between 20 and 40 people going there and coming back at a time. Tourist, right? They'll say hi. Anybody coming from Vanderbilt under the age of 30 won't even look you in the eyes or look up. So I don't know what the hell that's all about. But we live in a world where everybody's on their phone. Everybody's looking down. I could be as guilty as anybody of this. So that's another thing. So there he is sitting there. And we'll get to who he is in a second. And she, working at a pizza place, 23 years old, escaped Ukraine. And there you go. It's the horror that is. It's absolute devastation right there. Stands up. Mind you, he has said nothing. She has said nothing. They are just sitting there. Nobody has said a word. There has been nothing else. They don't seem to know each other. She's got her head down, and that's when he decides he is going to shank her. She sitting there, again, doing absolutely nothing. Her name is Irina. I'm going to screw this up, and for that I apologize. Zaruska, 23, refugee from Ukraine. This guy, nut job extraordinaire. From there, several stabbings. You can see him take out the knife here. Again, he and her, and then made eye contact. He's sitting there at times, just kind of looking out. He looks agitated. He's a freaking hot mess. Out comes the knife. Up, go, stab. That's it. And while all this is going on, there's cameras all over. Here's one thing I noticed. Very few people noticed anything or did anything. Now, some people are in a car a little bit down the waist. They got their headphones on. They're facing that direction. They don't hear anything because it happens so fast. There are people sitting around. Nobody did a fucking thing. Nobody did. Nobody Daniel Perry did. Nobody decided Penny did. Nobody decided, you know what? This shit can't happen. We got to hold this guy. What the hell did he just do? Nobody did a thing. Some people run over afterwards to try to take care of her. He's walking around with blood dripping everywhere. And nothing. Look at the blood right there. Nothing. Just standing there. Several minutes he's on a floor. There he goes walking with blood and his knife everywhere. Nobody does a damn thing. I have news for you. We should all be pissed. We should be pissed and sad because the system failed a woman who left a nation that was invaded by their neighbor, who came to overtake them and destroy them and escaped while hundreds of thousands of her countrymen and women tried to do the same thing, went to Poland and several other places, and a lot of other ones have died. She was hopefully going to be the future, as Zelensky wanted a lot of the young men and women to try to get away, just in case they did survive and they did win, they would have to rebuild for the future. And she's taken away because of this freaking nut job. By the way, this nut job, remember when you were a kid, you go to school and you hold up a thing like, look at me, I'm going to school, first grade, that kind of stuff. Could have done the same thing for the amount of times this guy, DeCarlos Brown, and normally I don't like to use names, but here you go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. Psychiatric issues, tremendously. Even the judge said, dude's not well. Dude's not well. His mom's like, dude is not well. My son is not well. He is ill-prepared to be around anybody, anything. He is a danger to himself and to other people. He can't be in my house anymore. She calls the cops. Cops come. They make him leave. Goes in front of a judge and, like anything, right? He's in, out, in, out. He spent 5 years in jail. She said that's where things went really sideways when he was in jail. He was in there for 5 years because he was never the same when he came out. He's schizophrenic, but he's had mental issues his entire life. We failed. The system failed. Some people out there is like, this is the black thing. They hate the whites. No, this was a mentally ill individual who did something full of hate and anger for the world, for who knows what. He was not well. Nor even people who are pissed and angry at somebody don't do things like that, let alone somebody you've never met. And we are at this point, though, this is absolutely a serious issue here, where we look at, people want to hear like Trump's like, hey, you know what? I'm waiting for Chicago. They should call me. I'll send out the guard, and we'll send out ninjas, and we'll stop everything, and crime will stop in a second, and all that stuff. There's something to the fact that we have serious issues with crime. And the Democrats have this bizarre world that they live in where, if we stop one criminal, we could stop some people that are just innocent and that. No, it's not that. I mean, you guys have been shitty for the crime for a long time. You remember Dukakis? You guys remember that Dukakis? The whole the Willie Horton thing, and he given a murderer weekend furloughs. What a shock! A murderer raped and killed again? Yeah, that's what he did. And then you got tough on crime. And then the crime bill was too much. And then you want to say, well, it's mostly the Republicans' fault about that. No, that's not it. Mental illness is a lot of what's driving this stuff. Yeah, is there crime problems? Huge crime problems in certain areas. Not everywhere. We're still in a very safe part of the world. But there's no doubt that we have crime problems in certain areas. Absolutely. But mental illness plays a huge part in it. And I think the largest, if I'm correct, I may be wrong, but if I'm correct, I do believe the largest mental health facility in the United States may be LA County Jail. Think about that for a second. Think about that. You have people who are absolutely out of their mind. I walk to work, and like I say, I see a lot of people, but there's an area over by, as my little daughter calls it, the roundabout, because there's naked people in the roundabout, and there are these big sculptures. But since it's been cooler, but still it got really hot for a while, and they've been out there, a lot of homeless people. milling about. And there's a few that they if you walk by them and you're like, they feel like they could jump at any moment. Say hi and give them a little bit of a wide pass. But there's no doubt that you can tell they're mentally not all there. They're not. And it's scary that we have nowhere for people to go. It's not a lifestyle choice, by the way. Doing drugs, being mentally ill, wandering the streets. It's not a lifestyle choice. And while MAGA grabbed onto this, partly because nobody would talk about it, and I think it deserves a conversation. At the other side of it, nobody would talk about it. Nobody would. And part of media is being able to say, or news or whatever it is part of the lying or whatever. It's also through omission. You were going to have a conversation about a young woman who got absolutely obliterated on a train coming here from Ukraine because you're afraid it's going to be some sort of dog whistle. Trust me, the dog whistle's already out there. This is a story that should be talked about, and how we got to this position where we have mentally ill people who wander our streets on a nightly basis with nowhere to go. And you and I both know they need a place to go. They should absolutely 100% be in an area where they can do no harm to themselves or to other people. We don't have the money for it. We don't fund it. And the only way we're going to get money for it in any way, shape, or form is make it absolutely the full profit opportunity that it could be, because otherwise nobody's going to pay attention. But it is a reality that we have. And we have judges who look and they go, we're full, right? We got no room at the end. And this guy, we're just going to release him on his own recognizance. He didn't know where he's at. That's no way to run a country or a city.
Second, the energy from pro-Trump activists. They picked up on this video from local news and ran with it. It's a little bit like the times when civil rights groups have raised attention about police-involved shootings. In this case, it is Trump-aligned influencers who are posting up a storm about this case on social media. Really, over the weekend, Elon Musk, Charlie Kirk, other Trump-aligned figures succeeded in making this senseless death a symbol of big city crime. We heard President Trump asked about it yesterday when he was heading home from New York City. He didn't seem to know much about it. He said he would get briefed. And then today, Trump did know all about it. That's exactly what has happened here. This story has trickled up from local news to social media and now to the president's attention. And it's being used, as you said, Brianna, as a political symbol, with MAGA media calling for more forceful punishments and more incarceration. I have to say, some of the replies to Musk, some of the comments around this story are baldly racist, stoking fear of African Americans because this man attacked a white woman. The open racism on sites like X today, it's eye-popping. But there are also legitimate questions about this so-called career criminal, someone who had been a repeat offender. And those questions, I hope they're not lost amid all of the cesspool kind of comments on social media.
Brian Stelter, calling the potato at work. He's right about a lot of that. As Brian Stelter is, he is. He is. Look, there's a lot of that. I see it. I've gotten a lot. Trust me, I got a lot of that today when I was talking about it on the radio. A lot of people sending me texts and tweets and stuff and DMing me about this. And, I like fixes. I always talk about that. What can we do to fix the problem that we face currently right now? Some people don't like that. They don't want to talk about fixes. They're enjoying their life where they can have, in my industry, where they can divide and scream and yell because it's worth a lot more to them through clicks and like. I'm not a big fan of that. I look at this person who was murdered, who escaped something as horrific as what is going on in the Ukraine with Russia and them, and to come over here and to get killed working at a pizza place, coming home at night, getting on a light rail at 23 years of age by a person who is a career criminal, who's also mentally disturbed. But those conversations can't be had because it becomes black and white. It's just easier to talk about. It's black and white, and this is what it is. It's a lot of things. And I think we recognize that the average person who's not in it to divide but wants to have conversations recognizes what a lot of this is. And there is a conversation that needs to be had. There's a conversation about this guy was never supposed to even be on there. He didn't have a ticket. How the hell did he get on there? They start going through all the things this guy shouldn't have been able to do, but he did. Why is the system failing so bad in that situation? Why isn't there anybody on some of these places of public transportation to help when we don't have the money? Why is it that there was also nobody else there to help? Which is, I think, a very fair question to ask. Why did nobody get their fucking hands and do anything? Some people tried to revive her. Some people tried to help. But why did people allow this dude, knowing full well he is bleeding and or has blood all over him, do absolutely nothing outside of move? How did people sit there? How are we that lost where we got our heads down and that somebody could get murdered behind you and you're too busy listening to a podcast and pay no attention and or hope that they don't see you? There was a lot of things going on wrong here. But yes, this is going to become a left, right, black, white issue. There's no doubt about that because it's good for business. It's good for business. No doubt. They love the business. They like the likes, the clicks. People aren't interested. We need to figure out how we get people who are mentally incapable of surviving on their own, too dangerous to be out on the streets to themselves and to others, into facilities where if you can't rehab them, you can contain them. That's it. You need to figure this out. We as a country need to figure this out. Because we have conversations like this every week, whether it's a kid going in and shooting up a damn school or somebody losing their mind and stabbing a bunch of people or lighting somebody on fire. And then we ask the question, well, why did that happen? And you find out that person's been arrested 965 gazillion times, but they let him out after 3 minutes. Why? Because the inn is full. It's sad, and it pisses me off as much as it pisses a lot of other people off. We need to have a serious conversation about this and figure out how we start to get people who are mentally ill, career criminals, off the damn streets. Because we're going to see this more and more. And we shouldn't have this. And somebody living on the streets who talking to a wall, doing drugs, has no idea where the fuck they are. That's not a lifestyle choice. And that's not something I would choose for anybody. And that's somebody's son, that's somebody's brother or mother, that's somebody's sister. Those aren't lifestyle choices. Those are city and people that decided to abandon those people and hope that they quietly die or disappear to another city so they can be somebody else's problem, which is bullshit. You know it and I know it. Finally, one last thing tonight. See if I even have it up. It's phenomenal. Just see if I can find it. It was Trump's little letter to I thought I had it up. It was Trump's letter to I guess it's a poem or something that he did for, then the Democrats released it for Epstein. And it's kind of funny. And I'll pull it up here. It is kind of funny. It's kind of a wacky, bizarre situation where you've got this, realistically what it is it's just this bizarre kind of drawing. And Trump said there was no drawing. But here it is. And this is his voiceover, there must be more to life than having everything. And they go through all this thing and the Donald Trump. And he says, well, I was never there, this, that, and the other. It's probably yours. I'm not saying it's not 100% yours, but the reality is it's probably his. And this isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And somebody asked me today, why does this matter? And I said, well, what do you mean, why does this matter? And they said, well, why does this matter? And I said, dude, 2 minutes ago, you asked me about this in this case with the girl being stabbed. I said, well, why does this matter to you? You're 1,500 miles away from this. It matters because while what happened to her was horrific, what happened to those girls, God knows how many of them, was also horrific. On top of all of that, to say that bad dudes with enough money can do whatever the F they want to do and get away with it whenever the hell they want to do it. We don't want that. We don't need that. That's not what we're about. So I said today, the reason that that's important is because of that. We're supposed to be different. We're supposed to be a nation that protects and holds strong. We're supposed to be a nation that does the right thing. And we have not for a very long time. I fear that more and more of what we have done in the past and in the future, it's not been great. It isn't. And to think that Uncle Sam could have been pimping out young girls because it could have been good for our allies or our leaders, or we knew that this was happening and we kind of went, turned a blind eye to it, is not right. And it shouldn't. And those women deserve every opportunity. And Trump's going to continue to go after the likes of Massey, which is bullshit. And anybody else he thinks is coming after him, which makes you go, well, was there more to see here? Maybe, maybe not. But there's some more questions that need to be asked. And hopefully we've got people with the intestinal fortitude to say, yes, we need to see these. Yes, we need to have this conversation. Yes, we need to have these things out there. We deserve to know. The world deserves to know. And these women deserve the opportunity to have their day, if not in court, at least a court of public opinion. We'll find out. Tomorrow, join me on the radio show, 6 to 9 Pacific, 9 to noon on the East Coast, about 100 stations nationwide. Go to chadbensonshow.com. Check out all of our sweet, we got tons of T-shirts and stuff you can buy there. But also, and I love this, great sponsors. So go check out our stuff there. If you want to reach out to me, you can do it here. Like and subscribe. Share the video. Appreciate it when you do that. You guys have a blessed rest of your Monday. We'll do it again.